we had City Connects drop last week. It was odd. Usually it's Monday, so we would have talked about it on the show on Monday, but instead it was on Thursday. We didn't have a Thursday Night Live because Brig was doing school and I was at my son's soccer game. So we just decided to skip it and forgot to put stuff out on social for you guys. But nonetheless, we were not there. We're here to talk about the Toronto City Connect. Now they're calling this night mode. At first, I wasn't sold, but the more I look into this, the more I see it, I am sold. Okay. And I'll get more to that in a little bit. But let's look at this for just a minute. So the whole thing is night mode. Like I said, when the sun goes down, the city comes alive, is what the Blue Jays tweeted with this. And so if you look at what they have going on here, first let's talk about this split T on the hat. So it's on the cap and it's also on the sleeve. You can see it right here on the sleeve, just barely below the Blue Jay there. It's supposed it comes from Toronto City flag and it represents City Hall towers. Then we have Toronto across the chest. I didn't put these in proper order when I was putting this slideshow together. My bad. But this is actually pretty cool. So the Toronto across the chest is inspired by Toronto City Hall, like that font. It says Toronto outside of City Hall. It looks like that. But you can see the skyline there, and it's supposed to be the city reflected onto Lake Ontario. Now look at that across the chest. Would you look at that? And then I added this shot of the skyline at night. They pretty much nailed it, and it looks really cool. I like that a lot. I think it's so great. One thing I don't have a picture of is inside there, the collar. It says "Diversity of our strength" or "Diversity our strength," and that's on the city's coat of arms. I think that's really cool. Here you can see on the back, you can see the numbers. Kind of. You don't get a good. I wish I'd been able to get a better shot there, but you can't really see the red and the white and the blue against the black jersey there. But they have black pants with piping. I believe it was red and white piping down the sides. We're gonna look at it here in just a minute. You can see the Blue Jay there with like a red cuff. Now, I want to look at on the field stuff because I feel like that's usually where you can tell how things end up looking. I mean, obviously, so it's blue and red with the numbers on the back. It's Jose Barrios pitching there. It's funny though, because in that shot right there, it looks like there's 3 umpires because the black. There's Vogie driving one to deep center. I think it looks great on the field. It's hard to see the Toronto skyline. Bo Bichette, of course, is going to look good. You can put a paper bag on that guy and he'd look good in it. But it's hard to see the skyline on the black, on the jersey, on the field. But at the same time, though, like the skyline doesn't exactly light up like a Christmas tree. When this picture, you can't see it because there's still a little bit of twilight in the background there, right? But I looked at a lot of pictures. This is the one that I felt like represented the skyline the best across the jersey, what they were going for there. And there were others where it just kind of the skyline is not super prominent at night when it's completely black in the background. And so it's kind of fitting that it's like you get closer up to it and it looks better. But the other realization I had, and we talked about this before, that these jerseys, they're not necessarily for the everyday fan. They're not necessarily for the hardcore fans. They're for the casual fans and the non-fans who want something that can, maybe they're a casual sports fan or maybe they're just into fashion. They want something that represents the city. So it's meant to appeal more up close on the street. It's why they have all the tiny little nods on the jock tag, on the back of the collar and things like that. That wearing them on the field is simply modeling them and giving the hardcore fans like Brig and I, right? The big time fans like us, giving us another reason to buy it. Like, oh man, I like the way that looks in the field, or I like the way that it looks for my team, so I'm going to buy it. I feel like they've done a really good job trying to appeal to the casual and non-fan with this. Like I said, it looks really good close up, and they're definitely fashionable. I wasn't a big fan of the Lou. We had somebody on YouTube call us out like You don't like it, but we do. We don't care. Like, that's fine. You can absolutely like it. You can love this Toronto one. This one I like more than I thought I would have given my first impressions. I'll say that, and I'll leave it at that.